Welcome to week 4 of the weekly podcast of the week.
It's time for the weekly podcast of the week. Every week, podcast weekly for the week.
My misconception of the week is it's about the term woke right. And the misconception is that the woke right is the side or faction of the right that is not engaging in cancel culture. As we've seen lately, there's been the introduction of this term woke right. I've seen it all over X, and it's been used by what I would define as the Israeli right to attack the faction of the right that isn't necessarily pro-Israel, and in many cases is actually anti-Israel. But they are the ones who, I would argue, are engaging in the most woke tactics of cancel culture. Use your platform how I want you to use your platform. We saw Mark Levin speaking at the Jewish Coalition Convention, whatever it was called, saying, we're going to cancel and deplatform people who are, in his term, anti-Semitic.
What do you mean we don't cancel people? We canceled David Duke. Donald Trump canceled David Duke. We canceled Pat Buchanan. We canceled the John Birch Society. We canceled Joseph Sobran. We canceled pornography on TV. We cancel stuff all the damn time. Hitler admirers, Stalin admirers, Jew haters, American haters, Churchill haters. You're damn right we're going to cancel them and deplatform them. It's called the market system.
And I find that to be extremely woke. That's what I've always associated with being woke, is this, oh, you're not doing things my way. Tucker has to use his platform the way that this guy would use the platform, or the way that I would use the platform. My misconception of the week is that there actually is no woke right. And if it is, it's the Israeli right that's engaging in the most woke tactics that we've ever seen come out of the right. They're using the same tactics to deplatform and cancel us that we've seen coming from the left for the last 10 years.
So what we have here is the actual woke right are the people acting like the woke left. What does the woke left do? They make up mythology, not their actual tactics. I'm talking about how does their brain work? How does their ideology work? Not their tactics. Everyone gets canceled, and canceling's been going on since before the woke left has been here. What they do is they group everybody up by immutable characteristics. The black people, the people of color, the whites, this and the whiteness and things of that nature. In this case, it's Jewish people who a lot of them have nothing in common besides the fact that they might just have a similar ethnicity, and that's it. And they lump those people together and assign a nefarious message to them so that they can say, this group is the reason I'm not doing well. It's not my fault. It's not that I didn't succeed in the meritocracy. It's this group doing it well. A lot of those mythologies are that for some reason we're putting Israel before the United States by giving them 0.2% of our yearly budget to give them 1% of their yearly budget for defense spending. And there's no other reason for that, which in reality is kind of retarded. What we actually do is
how much money is that?
Global hegemony.
I know you like to reduce it down to a percentage because you can do that with literally everything our government does. But how much money is that?
$3 billion a year.
How much?
Saying that we put Israel first. If they get,
I didn't say we put Israel first. Budget, and actually, I'm not making this claim.
Say that a lot.
I'm not making this claim about the cancellation of Nick Fuentes. I'm making this claim about the cancellation of Tucker because he had Nick Fuentes on his show, didn't conduct the interview the way that people wanted him to, and they're trying to cancel him for the association.
I'm getting into the points that make them woke right, is more my argument. That's what I was going at, was what you started with the woke right. These dudes are the woke right. So anyways, Tucker went to glaze Russia, he glazed Iran, glazed every enemy of the United States except maybe China, but I want to hold on. So
is Russia an enemy of the United States?
Yes, we're currently.
And we let WNBA players go over there?
I mean, we're adversarial. We're not an outright war with them.
So we're not really enemies.
Proxy wars. We're adversarial.
Are we at war with Russia?
No. We're in
do we do trade with Russia? Do all of our allies in Europe do trade with Russia? Significant trade?
Right now, they're being sanctioned out the ass. They're going to.
They don't. Germany is not getting a significant portion of their energy from Russia.
What are your talking points from 2023? No, did you see
2 years ago? You think it's changed that quickly?
Yeah. Yes. By 2027, they're supposed to be completely off a trade with Russia if they continue at this pace. They are greatly cutting down. Before the war started, Russia was the #1 importer of energy to the EU. Now they're number 6, I think. The United States is #1. They have been cutting them off drastically, left and right. And this escalated greatly when Trump came into office and started doing drill, baby, drill. We were putting out, I think, 8% more export energy than under Biden in just the first couple of months, of the first quarter. So yeah, our oil output and gas output went significantly through the roof, making these goods cheaper because you have more supply to sell. And that made it so it was more profitable for Europe to buy it from us.
So when I say it's woke to cancel people, to deplatform them, to cancel them because of associations that they've made rather than their positions, because I don't know Tucker as being as anti-Israel as Nick Fuentes. You can make the argument about the whole woke angle and identitarian politics with Nick Fuentes, but what I'm saying is woke is that Nick Fuentes went on Tucker's show. So now Tucker is scarred. We have to cancel him. And now all of the people that are having Tucker on are being canceled.
The Heritage Foundation were the only people that pulled out, and that's because they're an old guard Republican institution that said, like, whoa, you went a little too anti-Israel for us. We're not going to endorse that. That's it.
Hold on. I think that was fake news. I'm pretty sure the Heritage Foundation CEO came out and clarified that they were not anti-Tucker, and they've been getting canceled
Then they had a
for
struggle
that.
session.
Hey guys, it's Sadie here. Here's what's actually going on with the Heritage Foundation and Tucker Carlson. So they're linked through controversy after the Heritage president, Kevin Roberts, defended Carlson's interview with Nick Fuentes. After that happened, Heritage board member Robert P. George resigned in response.
Well, they've been getting, now the Heritage
came out and
Foundation is being targeted by the Mark Levin types, by the Ben Shapiro types. And by the way, Ben Shapiro is refusing to engage with Nick Fuentes despite doing a 40-minute long show shaming Nick Fuentes. Isn't that kind of woke? My argument's very simple. What's woke about him is the canceling, the deplatform, the treating them like a cancer. Everyone who associates with Nick Fuentes is guilty. Now everyone who associates with Tucker is guilty. Now everyone who associates with the Heritage Foundation is guilty. Now I'm probably guilty. I find that to be very woke. I think
that's happening. That's hyperbole.
Is it hyperbole? Is Tucker anti-Israel?
Yeah.
Is Tucker anti-Israel?
Yes, he does not want Israel to be aided by the United. I don't think he wants Israel bombed like Hamas.
Has he said that?
But
has he taken strong stances on Israel himself?
Yes.
Well, I'd be curious.
Yeah, do you remember the Charlie Kirk Memorial? He's taken strong stances on Jews in particular, not just Israel. The round hat people he was talking about at fucking Charlie Kirk's memorial.
Well, he was talking about 2,000 years ago.
And it actually reminds me of my favorite story ever. So it's about 2,000 years ago in Jerusalem, and Jesus shows up and he starts talking about the people in power, and he starts doing the worst thing that you can do, which is telling the truth about people, and they hate it, and they just go bonkers. They hate it, and they become obsessed with making him stop. This guy's got to stop talking. We've got to shut this guy up. And I can just sort of picture the scene in a lamplit room with a bunch of guys sitting around eating hummus, thinking about, what do we do about this guy telling the truth about us? We must make him stop talking. And there's always one guy with the bright idea, and I can just hear him say, I've got an idea, why don't we just kill him? That'll shut him up. That'll fix the problem. It doesn't work that way.
Didn't Charlie Kirk refuse to deplatform Tucker in the face of massive Jewish donations being pulled? Does that play any role in this analysis?
I don't know anything about that.
Tucker got criticized by the pro-Israel crowd for his remarks at the Turning Point event. Charlie also had threats from donors thereafter saying, if you don't get rid of Tucker Carlson, we're done. And he had received some threats about that even before Tucker's appearance. And he said, well, I'm bringing him anyway. And that's all been documented. This is kind of water under the bridge.
I mean, maybe he was anti-deplatforming, but
probably because it was woke.
Was avidly pro-Israel.
Charlie said he was leaving the pro-Israel cause in the screenshot that I saw.
He is not. He never was. There was no verbal signature. His wife was.
Well, unfortunately, he didn't have the time to actually develop that. You guys are both pussies, and you guys are both fucking woke right now. You're both faggots of the week, and you're both fucking pussies, all right? Ironically, you're fucking handhold pissies against each other. Both sides have a super woke component, right? There's obviously the like liberal right and like the Barry Wises being like, you can't sit with us because you don't wear the Jewish star. And then there's the national right who are like, we don't want browns. So like, both of you guys, fucking national right is the doing the group things of like basically anti I love my POCs, which the left does, and then the liberal right is doing exactly what the left does and being like, if you don't love POCs, you're not sitting with us.
Viewer, if you like and subscribe to the channel and like this video, and if we get 25 likes, I will study up and Tyler and I will do a 1v1 debate on this issue.
You could say it's woke to deplatform people, but it's been happening since media has been a thing. Howard Stern got kicked off of the FCC radio. Opie and Anthony got kicked off of FCC. It wasn't woke. They violated rules that everyone agreed to.
Yeah, those rules are woke, Ty. I'm a libertarian at heart.
Like, we're expanding what cancel culture is from Tucker Carlson.
It's always been woke.
Who still has his show.
Let boobies online.
Show is not going anywhere. Is getting criticized for things he says. It's not woke to say you're wrong. Tucker Carlson's not losing his show. He's not getting fired. He got fired because he lied about Dominion and it cost Fox News billions of dollars.
Yeah, fair enough.
He lied about his opinion of Dominion.
He was right. What do you think about Ben Shapiro running a 40-minute long clip episode about Nick Fuentes and refusing to speak with him? Isn't that kind of woke, at least?
It is a little bit of a pussy thing to do, but there's nothing woke about that. No, woke people love to jump into debates and just fucking act stupid, weaponize their autism, and fucking pretend like they don't understand how basic things work. They love to debate. I'd say Ben Shapiro is being classy by saying, I'm not going to even waste my fucking time with this dude, better than just debunk his points and move on with my life.
Debunk his points by pulling up clips of him when he was age 17 to 23, saying goofy shit on live stream. That obviously.
How old is he now?
27, 28.
Okay, that's kind of unfair. Then if it's from like 5, 6, 7 years ago, then I'll agree with you on that.
Nick Fuentes says that women are whores who shouldn't be in politics.
I will continue my crusade against women in politics. It's always like this, and it's so ironic. Women are like, I don't like, when you say, I like, you have to affect the face. When you say to repeal the 19th Amendment, that offends me. That hurts my feelings. It's like, have you ever stopped and considered that maybe if you get offended, there's such a strong emotional reaction to political opinions you disagree with across the board? Maybe that's one of the reasons why you shouldn't be making political decisions.
This is why I actually appreciate the way that Tucker conducted his interview with Nick. It's because every time we've seen Nick on another platform, these platforms feel that they're obligated to treat him as opposition. We can never just get a conversation with Nick, who, by the way, isn't a Senator Ted Cruz. He is in no positions of power. He's a young podcaster that has issues that are very pervasive throughout his generation. It's actually interesting to just have a conversation with the guy rather than run these hit pieces on him and refuse to talk to him. I don't mind that Tucker used his platform the way that Tucker wanted to. I don't think, and we watched it on my live stream, by the way, like and someone kick. That interview was not that bad. Like, Nick never even elaborated on the whole Stalin comment. We don't know why he said he liked Stalin. You can say there's a billion different reasons that might even not be so nefarious as to why he said that.
It's actually funny. It was December 18th. I remember because that's an important date to me. And it's Joseph Stalin's birthday.
Oh.
I'm a fan.
You're a fan of Stalin's?
Mm-hmm. Always an admirer. But we don't need to go into that, I guess. Like,
well, that's okay. Let's get back. We'll circle back to that.
It was weird because the reason I mentioned that, it was almost like, because I woke up that day and I was like, oh, it's December 18th. And I was just like very acutely aware of like, today's like a strange day. This is the day that the attempt happened.
He didn't go on this long diatribe as it's being represented that, oh, I love Stalin and everything he did. So they're misrepresenting him. They're refusing to engage with him. They're trying to cancel him and anyone who platforms him. I find that to be woke. And look, we can squabble over what the woke right is, but everyone knows what I'm saying when I say the Israeli right.
The vast majority of Christians that are pro-Israel, like 80%, or the people that are in favor of global hegemony and realize that oil is what's needed for a civilization to run, and when the price of that goes way up, it's bad, so we need a foothold in the Middle East that's reliable. Those people. So like the entire right wing, besides like the 3% of people that watch Nick.
I don't know how important Israel is in that as opposed to Saudi Arabia or literally any of our other allies in the Middle East.
Do we have any bases in Saudi Arabia?
I have no idea.
Yes? Don't we?
I don't think we get any oil from Israel.
We have any. Israel doesn't have. I didn't say Israel gives us oil. I
Right,
said
but
we
you
want
said they
a
oversee
foothold.
it. What's the point?
We oversee it to make sure it doesn't get fucked up.
Through
we want
Israel?
A foothold in the region for us to have a staging.
So
ground,
why not make Israel the 51st state?
It's not a part of the United States. It's just an ally.
But why not?
We're closely.
Why don't we do it if we have such an
with-
ingrained relationship and it's so unique compared to our relationship and alliance with any other country? Why not just have them become a state?
They're not trying to get statehood. Nobody's arguing for anything like that. We're arguing to keep them as an ally.
We treat them like they are. Do we
Hold
not?
Hold on. That's silly. I'm about to point that out. We have closer allies in the EU. We are more tightly knit to the UK, who we've given, and we're more tightly knit to. We've given Ukraine more money. We've guaranteed them more money. I don't think they've actually gotten it all yet, but we've guaranteed Ukraine more money in a fucking 3-year conflict that we've given Israel over 40. Most of what we give it to Israel is like Iron Dome shit. Iron Dome is, I think, like 40% of the spending we give Israel every year, so it's on defensive spending. We also give Israel money for them to do humanitarian aid in that area, airlifting people out of places, protecting minorities. They're protecting the Druze minority right now in Syria, who's not even Israeli. They're just protecting the religious minorities that are being oppressed by their government. Just because, and we give them money to do shit like that. We are renting an army. I don't know how it's not America first to say, our troops aren't going to die for your country, but we'll pay you so yours do. My fucking super retard of the week is the head of the BBC that just resigned in disgrace on November 9th. This asshole was resigned in disgrace after an investigation came out. That was an internal investigation into the BBC. Turns out they were doing documentaries, and these documentaries, one on Israel, one on January 6th, and one on transgenderism, were being falsified. They were cutting up clips of, on January 6th, clips of Trump's speech to make it sound like he was inciting violence, something Jack Smith flat out said he could not charge him for because he did not do.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you. And we fight. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. Now it is up to Congress to confront this egregious assault on our democracy. And after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down. We're going to walk down anyone you want, but I think right here we're going to walk down to the Capitol. And we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. And we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them. But I said, something's wrong here. Something's really wrong. Can't have happened. And we fight. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. Our exciting adventures and boldest endeavors have not yet begun.
He did not legally incite violence by the federal or state law, so he wasn't charged for it. But the BBC decided to cut up his speech and his tweets the same way the January 6th hearings did to make it look like that's what he was calling for, where they leave out the rest of the sentence where he said peacefully protest or things of that nature. They admitted to it. The internal review showed it. The one for Gaza, a history of Gaza and talking about the war between Gaza and Israel. Well, one of the narrator who was narrating his experience there, who got to do got a hand in the writing, his dad was a high up member of Hamas. The people attacking Israel, trying to destroy it, calling for its destruction, utter destruction and genocide of all the Jewish people around the world. It was in their charter for a long time as well. His dad belonged to that group and he was acting impartial. During this documentary, they just took Hamas claims at face value, which is something we see leftists do online a lot, where they just say Israel killed 100,000 people, they're starving us, and They don't need proof, and the people that are side with them just believe it at face value and ignore Israel's response, or video evidence, or satellite footage, or all the things they put out to show that these events aren't actually happening. They just gave a one-sided narrative, basically straight out of the mouths of the Gaza Health Ministry and the Hamas Fighting Force. And this was proven in the investigation. And the last one was transgender individuals, where they brought on some anti-trans people to talk about transgenderism when this was still a hot-button topic. It's pretty much gone away now in the EU. But when this was still a hot-button topic, they had a documentary on it. They chopped these people up to make it look like they were just bigots with no good points.
This internal BBC memo accuses the broadcaster of censoring its stories about the trans debate. In it, one of the BBC's own independent advisors repeatedly warns that the broadcaster is exhibiting serious and systemic problems. But in the case of the trans issue, it's not just how the content is reported or edited or framed. Instead, it's what audiences don't see that reveals the one-sided nature of their coverage. Now, this dossier describes in damning terms allegations that the BBC's specialist LGBTQ desk had been, quote, captured by a small group of people promoting the Stonewall view of the debate and keeping other perspectives off air. Examples include a lack of voices from people who regretted transitioning, little or no coverage for stories that raised concerns over safety and quality of trans care, scant coverage of biological women campaigning to exclude biological men from sensitive spaces, not a single example of detransitioner voices. The phrase assigned at birth in relation to biological sex was appearing frequently in coverage, despite being advised against in guidelines. Now, all of these aspects taken together paint the BBC as being biased by omission. By refusing to run stories that counterbalance the reporting, the BBC shows trans news items as established facts instead of contested views.
And all of this came out in the transcript of the investigation, and the head of the documentary team, as well as the head of the BBC, stepped down in disgrace and shame for being massive political hacks that had been lying to you for years about several topics. Just January 6th Trump derangement, trans propaganda. The only way that movement still is afloat is you have about a decade's worth of misinformation to still debunk. These people have just been lying through their teeth since day one. And it's going away. Most people disagree with it at this point, but it's still not going fast enough. And then Israel-Palestine. I don't think Israel's ever going to recover from the reputational damage done to them from this war, but who gives a flying fuck about your reputation when you're winning 6 wars at once?
Yeah, who cares about that reputation?
Who gives a fuck?
But anyone who's questioning the reputation in America is woke right.
Hey, we're talking about the BBC guy.
Yeah, okay.
Most of that misinformation that just impeaches their reputation isn't true.
I guess the one thing I would say is that just because he's the son of a Hamas leader doesn't mean he's necessarily bad. Because there is that one son of the Palestinian Authority leader who became a double agent for Israel.
The producers knew he was the son of a Hamas leader and they didn't disclose it. He hid it from everybody that would have raised a red flag, and the people that did know helped him cover it up. People were saying, oh, he didn't chop up the Trump speech that much. Well, Trump was going to sue the BBC for $1 billion in defamation. He was being able to move forward with discovery on that lawsuit. So apparently something false enough to allow discovery took place because that was being allowed by court. But yeah, if you want some more examples of fake news, just narrating the world through their own perspective and ignoring reality, the BBC just had a big kick in the dick. And that's why the head of the BBC, Tim Davie, is my fucking retard of the week.
Our California cigarette of the week, because obviously we established that all Californians are, British cigarettes. Adam Shifty Shift. He sucks. What else is there to say? He sucks all of the Democrat cock all the time. He's literally worse than fucking Senator Padello who chased down the dog hunter Kristi Noem.
We are not going away. We are staying here to liberate this city from the socialist and the burdensome leadership that this governor and that this mayor have placed on this country and what they have tried to insert into this city. So I want to say thank you to every single person that has been able to do this. Also, I want to talk specifically to the rioters and to the politicians in Los Angeles.
A half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your.
I also want to talk about specifically how many of our ICE agents have been doxxed for doing their duty.
So, yeah, he's definitely leaked a bunch of classified information. He was hyping up how he had this golden bullet to take down Trump. Didn't do shit. Should probably be prosecuted federally for a whole bunch of crimes, but he deletes evidence just like Hillary Clinton, his mistress. And so, also that's not the kind of mistress where, it's like a sugar mama. That's like full on BDSM, like bend over gimp suit kind of deal. So this is the fact of the week.
I think he was one of the people that got one of those preemptive pardons from Biden because he was on the January 6th committee. So there's one. Yep. And second, I do believe that he's committed mortgage fraud, and we'll see if anything comes of this, but he claimed a primary residence in Maryland while he was actively serving as a representative in California.
California U.S. Senator Adam Schiff reportedly being investigated for alleged mortgage fraud in Maryland. That tonight, according to Fox News. This federal investigation follows a criminal referral alleging the U.S. Senator falsified bank documents for more favorable loan terms. Now, so far tonight, Schiff has not released any sort of statement or comment on this investigation. We will continue to follow any new developments on this right here from the Live Desk.
I got a few things. So there was a whistleblower report recently on Schiff. He was intentionally taking classified information that he got from his position and leaking it selectively and strategically to hurt the Trump administration. He's also the guy that went on Tucker Carlson and several other news shows at the time and said that he had insider information that would have proven collusion between Trump and Russia.
These hacks were of such seriousness they could not have taken place without the approval at the highest levels of the Kremlin.
That's speculation, and we've seen a lot. Well, it is speculation. That's
it is not speculation. You can only say speculation.
Statement of fact.
It is a statement of the intelligence community's best assessment,
okay.
and
but
you can quarrel with that because there's a political reason to do it, but this is what the intelligence professionals are saying.
Well, they've told us a lot. I've lived
seriously.
here a long time. I remember vividly the massive stockpiles of WMD in Iraq, which the intelligence community assured us were there, and they weren't. So, pardon me for my skepticism. I think it's a patriotic position. But let me just say this: we know.
Tucker, let me just say this: you don't have to take my word for it. You don't have to take
I've been following this. Here's what I don't get. There's been a lot of hacking.
The Republican members of the Intelligence Committee.
But here we've had
hacking think this is in dispute.
of the Pentagon, the White House, the State Department. The CIA director's personal email was hacked. We think in some cases by Russia. I don't remember you holding a press conference and saying, hey, Obama administration, your cybersecurity is pathetic. Let me just ask you one final question. Can you look right into the camera and say, I know for a fact the government of Vladimir Putin was behind the hacks of John Podesta's email?
Absolutely. The government of Vladimir Putin was behind the hacks of our institution and the dumping of information.
Of John Podesta's email.
Not only in the United States, but also in Europe.
Okay, you're not, you know what, you're dodging.
And Tucker,
no, look and say, I know they did. John Podesta's emails, they hacked those.
And I think that Ronald Reagan will be rolling over his grave at your carrying water for the Kremlin.
I'm not carrying water for the Kremlin. You're a sitting member of Congress on the Intel Committee, and you can't say they hacked.
You're gonna have to move your show to RT Russian television because
you know what?
This
That's
is perfect.
Just so
this is perfectly
beneath your
placed.
office because it's so dumb and you're being duplicitous. I'm asking you, did they hack Podesta's emails? And you can't say it.
Personal insults like that, Tucker.
You just said I was carrying. You said I was carrying water for Putin.
We now know today was completely fabricated by the Democratic Party, and FBI agents that were loyal to the Democratic Party lied to get it pushed into evidence, as well as high-up intel officers that were loyal to the Democratic Party lied and snuck it into intel reports and presidential daily briefings while knowing that none of it was corroborated.
Yeah, that's exactly it right here, which is why I'm really hoping that like Tulsi Gabbard has had enough evidence that she was able to recommend to the FBI and other prosecutors to fucking take this guy down. Even I don't give a fuck that he was appointed to be a senator. I don't give a fuck that he got a pardon for this. Like I don't care. That pardon should be challenged. And even if the pardon actually stands, bring his ass in, interrogate his ass, because just because you're pardoned doesn't mean that you can't give up the ghost on those who you conspired with who weren't pardoned. Because That's really what it should come down to, is that all the people who were pardoned under Biden, and honestly, if this is what fucking Dims want to do, if they win back the presidency, where like all the people that Trump pardons, even if he pardons himself, yeah, sure, they can call these people in to investigate them, but they can't actually prosecute or convict or anything because they're pardoned already, but you can still bring them in to actually investigate more. So yeah, that's just my hope and my prayer, is that there's enough evidence that they get convicted.
Like and subscribe if you're a Jewish Israeli.
Like and subscribe if you're a Jewish colored person.
Make America first again, Matha. See you next week.